The man was suddenly engulfed by a strange sea fog. He immediately became nervous. He quickly turned off the engine. He planned to leave once the fog cleared, but just then, his boat crashed into a cruise ship. Yet, no one appeared on the cruise ship. The man kept shouting, but there was no response from the ship. So, he boarded the cruise ship to check. The man cautiously entered the cabin. He found that the living supplies were all intact, but there wasn't a single person on board. The man guessed that the owner might have met with misfortune. He adjusted the radio channel. He planned to contact the port to report the situation, but after several attempts, he realized there was no signal. Helpless, the man returned to the deck. That's when he noticed something terrifying. His boat had completely disappeared. The man panicked. He searched everywhere, but his small boat was nowhere to be found. Determined, he grabbed binoculars to look around, but he still couldn't see anything. When the weather cleared, the man decided to sail the cruise ship back, but to his surprise, the engine wouldn't start. The steering wheel was also broken. With no other choice, the man let the ship drift. He tried to determine his position. He marked it on the map. Using the sails, he harnessed the wind and drifted toward the direction he had chosen. Everything seemed to be going well, but just as he was about to relieve himself, something unexpected happened. Luckily, he grabbed onto the ship's railing in time. Terrified, the man rushed to the restroom, but another strange event occurred. The restroom door wouldn't unlock. At this point, the man didn't realize the seriousness of the situation. He found tools to try and force the door open, but no matter how hard he tried, it wouldn't budge. Suddenly, an alarm sounded outside. The man was completely panicked. Through the cruise ship's window, he saw a cargo ship slowly approaching. Frightened, he began pounding on the walls. He extended his arm and shouted for help, but the cargo ship didn't notice him. As the ship was about to collide, the man grabbed a rope from the deck. In an attempt to save himself, he tied a knot at one end and threw it toward the ship's propeller. The rope successfully wrapped around the propeller, but it also accidentally tightened around the man. Just as he was about to suffocate, he managed to grab an iron rod outside the window. With all his strength, he pried the rope loose. The cargo ship crashed into the cruise ship. Water started flooding into the cabin, but the man was completely unaware. He looked outside and saw the yacht speeding ahead, so he stretched out his arm and struggled to release the sail clamp. Then he pulled the rope with all his might. Slowly, the sail began to retract. Finally, the ship's speed began to decrease, but before he could catch his breath, he realized the rope around the propeller had snapped. The yacht continued sailing toward an unknown destination. Even more terrifying, seawater was now flooding the cabin. Realizing this, the man was overcome with fear, but no matter how hard he tried, the door lock wouldn't open. Facing unknown dangers and rising water levels, the man felt a wave of despair. To make things worse, a storm was approaching. The cruise ship was soon battered by the storm. The man was tossed around by the waves. Inside the confined space, he crashed into walls. By dawn, he was utterly exhausted. He endured the freezing seawater. He was on the brink of losing consciousness. As the water rose to his neck, he made one last effort. He slammed against the door. After relentless attempts, the wooden door finally broke open. The man scrambled onto the deck and gasped for fresh air.